There you go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of the Weekend Habit, hashtag Guru Chat. And for those of you who are new to the show, every Saturday at 9:30 in the morning, me and a group of teachers, we discuss education topics for an hour, and we discuss this in a Twitter chat. And then everything gets recorded on YouTube as well and on Facebook, and it also gets exported to a podcast in Anchor. So if you miss this, don't worry because you're still going to be able to watch us and you're still going to be able to listen to us after. So we do this in a Q1, A1 format. You'll be able to see that in a few. Q stands for questions and A for answers. And the responses always include our hashtag, which is hashtag GuroChat. So every time you answer on Twitter, you have to put the hashtag GuroChat. So for those of you who are not on Twitter, it's fine. Don't worry about it because you can still comment here on Facebook and on YouTube. So today we are joined by two teachers, actually three. The other one is going to be late. So we will roast him, don't worry. So uh, we have two amazing teachers here and lovely teachers also. We have Lisa Requiso. She's at the Requisos in Twitter. And we also have Riza at Riza Picho on Twitter. Right. So let me share my screen. Syempre may hello. Lisa, can you introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
Yes, hi. I'm Lisa. I'm now in the Philippines. I'm in Las Piñas. Um, but I've been teaching internationally since 2008, and now I am currently based in Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Oh, nice. I forgot to ask you if you like Indian food now because isn't it kind of the same cuisine?
Surprisingly, I actually learned how to eat Indian food in Tbilisi, Georgia,
Yeah.
because because there were many Indian students who are studying medicine there, and so they brought
Yeah.
their food with them, and that's where. And then I was also very close to a good Indian friend of mine, a co-teacher, and so she introduced us to the plethora of Indian food. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, if
So
you
it's
don't know,
actually I've
I
I've
was
learned to love Indian food prior.
that is good. That is good
Yes.
because that's kind of a requirement, isn't it? Or else you're not gonna survive.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
I-
But Bangladeshi food and Indian food are quite similar.
yes.
However, Bangladeshi food is can be extremely spicy.
Very
So
South
yeah,
Indian
that is
because Bangladesh is like south east of India,
yes.
and they used to be part of India, right? Uh,
No, no.
until
They used
19,
to be part of Pakistan.
which is also part of India. Both of
Used to
them used to
be.
be part of
Yes.
India.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we were
Yes.
like southeast of India, next to
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bore you with geography, but it's, but India has always been a fascination of mine. But I had an ex-boyfriend, many stories about it. But I learned how to cook Indian food. I used to do Indian, what do you call this? Indian dinner parties
Right.
here for
Right.
vegetarians. It's mostly Indian food. So
Yes.
before you leave for Bangladesh, I have to cook for you. I hope that the quarantine gets lifted soon. So si Riza
Yes.
naman. Riza, tell us about you.
Hi, good morning. Dami ko nang natutunan just with the introduction. Bangladesh, Pakistan, part of being an Indian
Right.
country. So, oh, that's it. This is great. So, I like spending weekends with both of you and the rest of the teachers because I get
Yes.
to learn more. I get to, have different perspective of things. So, hi everyone. I'm Riza. I'm a physical education teacher, kindergarten to fifth grade before, but this school year and last year, fifth grade. So if you need anything about fifth grade education, then just send me a message and welcome to our weekend habit.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome everybody to the weekend habit. So this is gonna be this is a weekly thing for us. This is again our fifth week, so we've been at it for a whole month now, and we are not gonna
Wow.
stop. So we are actually soliciting some ideas from you guys. What do you want to hear around education, and if you would like to hear more about or know more about important topics in education, even edtech, mostly edtech topics here in the Philippines, then please let us know. Write down in the comments. In your YouTube box, there's a Q&A down below or next to your screen. Or here on Facebook, you would have it below your screen. We're actually streaming live right now in my page, in the GTech Guru page, and also YouTube. All right, so let's get on with our introductions on Twitter. Just to give you kind of a quick backgrounder here. Here is our our Twitter chat right now, and I'm just gonna put my phone on silent. It's gonna get really super duper noisy in a while. So here on Twitter, you'll find that a lot of the tweets would be under the hashtag Guru Chat, and I have my first question here, which is our introduction. Introduce yourself, your location, is what we just did, and share a new thing that you learned or did this week. So, uh, yeah, we I have Laffy here saying that he learned how to make Panda Express's orange chicken last week. Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, you should show us. How about you guys? What did you learn? What new thing did you do or learn this week?
Share it with us. Don't be
Yeah.
shy.
Did you learn
Anything. It
something
can
new?
be. Yeah. It can. Are you asking me, Mary?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, this week, it's school day. So mostly, I learned all about things I will need for my classes, the new updates of Flipgrid, the courses
Yes.
in CISO. So,
Ooh, that's
so
exciting.
everything about what I need for my class because I need to be very specific. What I learned is that my students need very specific instructions on how they will accomplish the activities in PE class because mostly it's asynchronous. And during synchronous class, we only have 1 hour, and that 1 hour is spent, clarifying misconceptions, everything. So the performance part goes back to their asynchronous. And what I need is that when they perform, I need to be able to show them how to show it to me. Because sometimes they get to take their videos half body only. So the full body performance or execution of a skill, I need to see it also. So I've been learning how to teach
How
them
about
how to
you?
take video. So
Right.
that's my weekend for this. I mean my whole week.
Right.
If you shoot your video in a half body, you also get half grade.
I should add that as the part of my instruction at the end.
Right.
How about you, Lisa?
Well, so I've been, because I'm on vacation, I've been hanging out on Twitter more now. And so I'm
Mm-mm.
actually looking for, because I'm teaching a new grade next school year. So I'm looking
Oh,
for activities that will, especially for building relationships with students, because I
mm,
haven't taught an earlier grade. The last time I've taught an earlier grade was a long time ago. And so I just
mm,
need to find ways on how I can do that with Seesaw or how I can incorporate Flipgrid with that. So I'm trying to figure out what are the social emotional activities that I can use to build that.
mhm.
So yeah, that's what I've
Okay.
been learning this week.
Well, that's really interesting.
Oh, Mary, stop. Did she
Mary,
freeze?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Mary's connection is intermittent. Oh, hello, beautiful cat.
Yep, my cat.
Yeah, so
Right.
beautiful.
So yeah,
So go,
so
Lisa. Go
I've
ahead.
been looking at all of your Flipgrid posts, and so I
Yes.
also need to figure out how to do that, like how to, yeah, how
Ayan, I think we
to
popped out for a bit. Sorry,
Yes,
guys.
okay,
Mary. So
so
we were
no,
just
it's all right.
sharing. Lisa is sharing.
Yeah, so I was just saying that because Riza has been posting a lot about Flipgrid, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking about how to use that. But I need to train my students exactly how she said it earlier. Like, you have to train your students first how to do certain things before you're able
Yes.
to actually get the skills that you actually need. And so I need to figure out
Yes.
how to do that. So yeah,
Oh, nice. At least, yeah. Sometimes knowing the tool, but here's the thing with learning a
Technology.
new tool, yeah, or learning technology. Sometimes you just really have to um, parang have at it, parang ganon.
right,
Leave them
right,
to explore it. Like just give them the pathway, 'di ba? Of what
right.
they need to do. Tapos sila na yung bahalang explore the rest.
Yes.
And I think for my first question on our weekend habit, just to give you a backgrounder, everybody, this is stage two. When I'm saying stage two, it means that we already had stage one, diba? Last week, we actually discussed a design thinking, creation of the challenge. So when you're design thinking, you need to make sure that you marry yourself to the problem. So last week, that's all we talked about. We talked about problems. We talked about discovering problems by understanding what the school wants or what you would like for the school, what you wish, and what your gripes are, what your complaints are, right? And then we tried to frame those challenges. And right now, our theme actually, last week we didn't really clarify the theme, but I'm clarifying it right now. Our theme is creating a culture of innovation in online learning para mas tighter tayo. So we create a culture of innovation in an online learning environment. There are problems around that we're gonna need to navigate. And today we will be doing interpretation of the challenge. So we have our first question here, and the first thing about interpretation is understanding our first question here, which is, syempre hindi yung introduction, diba? Which is sharing your impressions. Sharing your
Yes.
impressions so in your conversations with users about your wish and your gripe. Like, what was the most memorable and surprising story? Because we interviewed our, di ba, we talked, basically interviewed, we to talk to our teachers and our students, and they would
Yes.
have wishes, they would have complaints. Sila yung focus natin eh. So what was the most memorable and surprising story that they shared with you around this online learning thing? Mahirap ba?
Uh, well, in all the reflections of my students, they would always say they find, exploring the applications challenging because they were learning and using it. They were learning how to use it and at the same time learning the content. So they were having confusion on how to manage the use of the technology in class as well as learning the content in all the subjects. So imagine my students having 11 subjects in a week, and all of those subjects uses different applications for
Right.
the whole week. So they were
Right.
and then at the
Ito
first
yung tubig
week,
ko ba?
they introduced
Ito
right
yung tubig
away
ko ba?
learning playlists.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? Students got confused how learning playlist works because
Yeah.
even if you put an instructional video, but if you did
Mm-hmm.
not really require them to complete or finish watching how learning playlist begins or is being
Yeah.
managed or being used, then a lot of my students sent me messages, Miss, my learning playlist got lost, it got erased, did not save, things like that. So those are some of the challenges, or should I call it gripes? Maybe not.
Yeah. 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 That's good though. I mean, it's nice to be able to identify that because identifying that
Right.
is always the first step.
Right.
And
Yes.
now that you
Right.
start to share it with your teachers now, oh, you need to make sure that these are things that the students already know how to do or at least are being taught to learn before the actual lesson. Yeah, it's kind of difficult now. You're learning two things at the same time.
Yes. So
Um,
it yeah, diba? Remember last week I said I wish we had one full week of technological fluency before we introduced them to the content. But then
That's a
we
good
are not.
word. I like that. You put that in the tweet.
Technological
I learned a new
fluency.
word. I'm totally tweeting that. I learned a new word today.
And what
Technological
is that new
fluency.
word?
Ilalagay ko dito.
Oh, I got it from
Technological
Miss Pana.
fluency.
Yes, technological fluency. She mentioned about it
Technological.
in
It's
the
just to
different
connect.
icons of seesaw. So
Yes.
that made me realize, oh,
Wow.
I think I just let my student dive in into seesaw without introducing, the different
Seesaw.
icons that could help them.
Right.
So what I did, I posted an assignment activity that could introduce them to the different icons. Because some of them would say, Miss
Mhm.
Risa, I find seesaw hard. So things like that. Because I'm
Yeah.
using three applications all at the same time. With
Mhm.
Flipgrid, they don't have any problem. But with Seesaw, there is,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of tabs that they need to go into, and it's their first time to be using that application. So I'm giving them the
Yeah.
whole term to adjust. So if they don't get to respond to the activity, I just remind them. I don't really require them, oh, you're not yet done with this. When are you going to finish this? So I think distance learning for me, it's not really about accomplishing the requirement, but trying
Yes.
to get along with it, and trying to just be with it, even if it's challenging, because everything right now is challenging.
Yes.
Right. That's true. How
That
about
is
you,
true.
Lisa? What's your
Well, I'm not in school right now, so I can I can't really have I haven't
tama,
really had
tama.
any conversations. I remembered
Observations.
but I remembered like
Last
with
time.
what with Riza said. It was my first time at the time to teach fourth grade. And I didn't know. I mean, I knew that it was their first time to have a laptop. So in our school, the MacBook is introduced fourth grade, right?
Yeah.
So I
Wow,
did, yeah. So
amazing.
I didn't know that the
Nice.
students
I'm
will
so
not
inget.
have any skills.
Me too, Mary.
Yeah, so for us it's
We're so
fourth
inget.
grade.
Oh my God, I wish that our schools would have that same standard, but unfortunately, we need to kind of also adjust to our
Yes.
challenges here.
Right.
Like we live in the Philippines, and there are challenges. And I
Hello,
really
third
wish that
world country.
I know, but I cannot. I really cannot call us a third world country anymore. I mean,
Oh
I
no,
read
not
a
anymore.
not anymore.
Not
I read
anymore.
this
Okay.
No.
facts. Uh, I forgot the name of the book. I'm gonna remember it later. But it was really amazing about the daughter of the author of the book, or part of the one of the authors is the daughter, and she created something called the Dollar Street, where you can
Mhm.
really look at the spectrum of poverty and wealth, and what it looks like at both ends of the street. So if all the wealthy and all the poor people lived in one street, what would it look like?
Mhm.
So, what will the street look like from one end to the other end? So, for example, what will the bathrooms look like? What will the shoes look like? What will the families look like? What will the vehicles or transportation look like? And you can really see that every single country, they have the same progression across the world. So, sabi nila, their finding is that we were not supposed to be doing parang categorically, you should not be putting countries in the first world, third world category anymore. It was a different categorization, which is really interesting. I'm gonna find the book, and then I'll share it with you after this, or maybe I'll put it in the comments right after, or the description box, everybody, if in case you're interested to know more about that.
So it's more like a
It's
continuum.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
what
a
you're
really
saying?
interesting theory that we are not really poor. We think that we are, but we are,
No, we're
the
not.
country itself. I mean, our second biggest problem right now is obesity. So if obesity is your second biggest problem, it means you have money to buy food, diba?
Right. Right.
So that's just it. But let me go back to my chat. I have my second question actually right now, which is
Oh, Mary, we have Pilar from Monterrey, Mexico.
Oh,
Is
Pilar,
that
yeah,
is
I
that right?
tagged her a while ago. She said, I have been learning a lot lately, and today I edited a video on a mobile device. That's a first. That is true. Sometimes you really don't know what you're going to learn until you start. Um,
Yes. Until you're thrown
until you
into
start
that
really
situation.
doing it. Let's welcome her into the chat. Hi,
Yes.
Pilar, and welcome. So much multitasking happening here.
Yes.
Yeah, so much multitasking. That's what we do. Ayan. I actually have my second question up already, which is finding the themes. The thing is, when you talk to many people, many students, many teachers, you will find commonality in the themes. And one of the things that you
Yes.
do in design thinking when you're trying to solve a challenge is trying to find what the common ground is and trying to find what is this common problem that everybody has that, maybe you should solve that first before anything. And like what Riza found out, from the students, they need to learn, technological fluency first before
Yes,
they can
I
delve into the
agree.
lesson. I really love that
Yes.
phrase. It's gonna stick to
Oh,
me the whole day.
I I was really super surprised when I was taking that course because it really struck me. It made me
Yeah,
realize that I did not prepare my kids for the particular skill, and then the asynchronous task, ask them to
yeah,
use it. So
yeah.
when I met them the next time, I introduced everything because
Okay.
I feel that the whole term I will lose it if they don't really
Yeah,
know how to explore and navigate independently. So we do not want our kids to always depend on us on how to do this, how to do this, how to do this. Although we encourage them to really express, if you need help, you can
Yes,
email me, you can, things like that. But
right,
at some
right.
point, we really want to empower their learning because
Yes,
distance learning really empowers them if we teachers give that opportunity. But if,
agreed.
you know, honestly speaking, education in the Philippines, some might argue with me, but really mostly it's really spoon feeding. So what I've noticed, so I think not all teachers do that. It's just that
Right,
it's the system or the culture that
right,
pushes us to practice spoon feeding to our students.
right.
So uh, to really um, go away with that as
Mm.
teachers, that's our responsibility. So if you want to learn something, ask help from someone. If you're asking help, that doesn't mean you don't know anything about it,
That's true.
or you are lacking something. When you're asking something, you are actually empowering yourself to give more to your students.
Yeah.
So um, to answer Mary, I'm just gonna answer this. Which issues were obvious for our online learning? My experience. So mostly, parent feedback said too much homework.
Too
So
much
too much
homework.
homework on the first 2 weeks of online learning, which I think was not really good because when you're transitioning kids from the long summer break without nothing, without those academic context, and then you start school, and then you give them a lot of homeworks already. It's like, oh, they need that quick shift when you should have let them blend slowly until,
gradual.
yes,
Yeah.
gradual. Thank you for the word, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
There. So those were the issues in my
Right.
experience. Too much
Yeah.
homework,
Yeah.
which I
So,
think,
Mm-hmm.
'di ba, Liza, what could you say? Too much homework
Yeah.
for me, my personal
Yes.
opinion, not my school opinion, is that
Right. Right.
what
Right.
does that homework really want to achieve? Is
Right.
it just
Right.
really content, content, content? So
Yes.
for now, my experience, content is not much important if your student is, dealing with stress because they cannot cope with the
Yes.
too much homework. When they check
Yes.
their Google Classroom and it says there, assigned, 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 because they were not able to
Right.
turn in or it was missing, it gives them too much stress.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it's the same with Seesaw because there are notifications and it's a red button and it
Yes.
appears there like if you haven't submitted the work. So you'll
Yeah.
see that number adding and adding to it. So because I have children as well who does online learning and I've seen it with my youngest. My youngest at
Mm-mm.
last school year was second grade. And then,
Mm-mm.
like at the beginning, she was very engaged. Like she loved it, she enjoyed it, she loved Seesaw. And then as the notifications kept on piling in, like I've noticed like she's suddenly lost interest. And this is,
Yeah.
yeah, so like this my daughter is always excited to go to school before COVID happened. But then when we switched
Yes.
to online learning, it's like she switched off. So, there are different anxieties that come up with online learning that you only learn when you're in it. But but if you're outside looking in, you
Yes.
can't see that. So I think
Yeah.
yeah, and I think, like what Riza did was listen to her students, listen to her parents. I feel like that is really important. Like
Right.
we have to tune into what our learning community is sharing with
It's
us when it
experiencing.
comes
Yeah.
to yeah, their personal
Yes.
experience and as well
Yeah.
as equity to access. I don't have internet connection. Like it's,
Mm-mm.
in the
Yes.
like here in the Philippines, internet is, especially when it rains, it's like so bad. So we
Mm-mm.
have to take into account all of those things and we have to strike a balance. Like how much do we push or how much leeway do
Mm-mm.
we give? Like, or
Mm-mm.
do I really need this homework submitted like right now?
That's
You know what
true.
Yes.
I mean? So
Yes.
like there are
Yeah.
things that we need to figure out as we go along through online learning. I feel
Right.
like schools and teachers at the very least must be flexible when it comes to requiring their students
To
with the
submit
activities.
homework. Yeah. They have to kind of space it out or at least go at it
Yeah.
really. Because everybody's adjusting, not just the teachers, also the students. Pilar was
Yes.
saying something on her A1. As an answer to our first question, she said just
Yes.
today someone tweeted
Someone.
about wrong expectations of students. I couldn't copy the whole thing because I'm only limited to 200 characters. So she
Yes.
said, and I fear that my school would celebrate the wrong ideas, and I'm feeling apprehensive about my school's direction during online learning. So she's apprehensive about the school's direction. I think a lot of people are sharing the same
Yes.
concerns, right?
Apprehensions.
Yes. Yeah.
Concerns and apprehensions. Yeah, hey, we've got somebody
Hey,
who's
Lucky
right.
is here.
Hi,
Luffy.
Hello.
Lucky.
So
Hello.
welcome. We're welcoming Alfonso Omaguba to the stream, and he is just right in time because Pilar Hernandez, one of one of the people who replied in our Guru chat. This is what she said. She said, "I fear that my school would celebrate the wrong ideas, and I'm feeling apprehensive about my school's direction during online learning." I think this is so perfect for you to react to, Laffy. So I'm gonna ask you.
Oh, well, there are a lot of feels about that.
So much feels.
I know.
I have a lot
Hashtag
of feels.
hugot.
Yes.
Hashtag who got
Hugot.
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
there are.
Okay.
Yes. How do we answer this? Like I for one, me being the rebellious me, I would say no. We we remove that. But hold on, let me yeah, sorry, just getting into the zone again, moving from one topic to the next.
Yes.
How,
So while
yeah,
you're getting into the zone, we did discuss. While you're getting into the zone, get into the zone muna, Laffy. And
yeah.
then our next question for Q2 was actually finding the theme. And
Mm-mm,
as a result, like Pilar even said this one, she said obvious complaints
mm-mm,
came from poor class
Work class
management that
management.
resulted in
mm-mm,
failed synchronous sessions. Students complained
mm-mm,
about boring classes and teachers about poor behavior. So
mm-mm,
that's
That's honestly true, Pilar. Especially the
mm-mm,
oh,
poor behavior. But
mm-mm.
and boring classes, that's why you really have to infuse movement. Sorry
Yeah.
guys. I have
Yes,
to
true.
shout out
yeah.
movement in class.
So true, Pilar.
I'm just glad my classes are
Well,
45 minutes long. So it's not so long to be long. It's not so short that
To be
it's
short,
short.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ours it's an hour, and
Mm-hmm.
they only have 15-minute break in between, and after that another an hour. So if
Mm-hmm.
during my synchronous my kids would say, yay, it's PE time, we get to move even if it's tiring, because you know for 2 hours they get to sit, and then on the third hour, that's my class, that's the only time they get to move. So
Yeah.
oh,
imagine the week that they don't have PE. So because
Yes.
I do uh 1 week after the other. So if I met them last week,
Mm-hmm.
this current week, I did not meet them. So that
Mm-hmm.
whole week they didn't have any physical activity unless they do physical activity with their parents. I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming they do. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah. Yeah. I
no.
was talking to my French teacher because we have French classes, and since we get from Alliance Francais, so
mm-hmm.
they have like 3 hour classes. He has 3 hour classes with my grade 11 and 12 students. So that's he's online for 6 hours with a break just in between those
Wow.
6 hours.
That's
So I
so
was telling him,
long.
yeah, I know. I thought, well, I external. He's an
Yeah.
external person, so we had to really work with their schedule. So I told them, why don't you have breaks in between? And since they're learning French. Why don't you do like French? Do exercises in French with them. So do jump
Yes.
Mm.
jacks, and then they count in
French.
French.
Yes, yes,
You know,
yes.
so
Nice
yeah,
idea, Laffy.
yeah, because I was telling him that it's going to be tiring for the students, and they need time to zone out
Exactly.
for a couple of minutes, because it gets the eye strain is just terrible also.
That's true.
Agree.
Okay, guys,
Mm.
let's just pull back.
Yeah.
I'm actually Q4 already, so but I'm gonna go back to our Q3 because we haven't answered this yet. Making
Mm-hmm.
sense of our findings, like if that's the theme that you found, do you find contradictions to what the users say about online learning, to what your opinions are? In
Mm-hmm.
differing opinions. Because I
Yeah.
really like what Pilar was saying about that. She said, I found that schools' expectations fall on
Mm-hmm.
teachers' performance, not on
Yes.
student
Yes.
improvement. So schools are
Mm-hmm.
expecting teachers to come up with a change of
Mm-hmm.
classes quickly without providing appropriate PD or professional
Mm-hmm.
development for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real big thing. I mean, for me, my beef for this is that schools still think that buying technology is going to make them techie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Because
sorry.
just
Definitely
I just
not.
came from a
So
Rex
sorry to
web.
say.
Yeah, I just came
I
from a
am so
Rex
sorry.
webinar, and a lot of the participants are asking, like, what's the best way, or what's the most effective strategy or app to use. And my message is
Yes.
always, it's pedagogy versus tech, and pedagogy over technology.
yes,
Definitely. Yes,
Most
we
I
will
Laffy.
mean,
always
definitely.
teach that.
good
Like every week we
teaching.
teach that here.
Yeah,
Pedagogy.
and it's always like it. Good teaching comes from the teacher. If you know what you're teaching, if you're really mindful of what you're teaching and what's the
Yes.
best way to
I
teach it, then
agree.
Right.
then no amount of technology will help. That will replace you basically.
Most
That,
Exactly.
definitely.
Yes.
it takes a teacher. Hashtag
Yeah.
it takes a teacher, everybody.
Mhm.
Yes.
That is
That's
true.
Mhm.
I'm reminded by the quote of Kaurus, George
Mhm.
Kaurus. Technology in the hands of a teacher can be transformational. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
because it's really the teacher, the technology just helps you. It's
Yeah.
you as a
Right.
teacher makes a difference. So, even if you're adept in all of these technologies, but your students cannot understand and cannot feel your sincerity,
Mhm.
they wouldn't even try. So, and the gesture. So the technology the your gestures in online learning, because yesterday I had a student who felt upset of the way I called in the class. So
Mm-hmm.
this student left our group our group chat because uh, she didn't feel great about what happened. So I had to send a particular video just to
Just
appease
for
her.
her.
Yes,
Right,
just
Mm-hmm.
to
right.
her,
Mm-hmm.
because
Right,
there's no way. I mean, we do, Google Hangouts do not have a video message option. You
Mm-hmm.
can
right,
just have you need to call if you want to have a video, and I think to video call, I'm not sure if she's ready, so I just have to prepare a personal message. So um, online learning has so many ins and outs, so many
Yeah.
gray areas, but I think it's really the teacher. But because as teachers, we are also human, so don't be too
Mm-hmm.
hard on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right.
Yesterday,
We're
when
That,
I got the
learning.
message,
yeah.
I was really worried. Was it something that
Right,
I did? What do I do? Because it's going to be weekend, and I'm worried that something that happened to my student that would affect the whole school year for her. So I really have to try
right.
to do something, even if sometimes I say you feel like it's your fault, but sometimes it's really just the system, or it's just
The
something
platform.
that
Right.
happened. Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
I just tweeted something on
Let
Guru
me check.
Chat. Yeah, it's a tweet by Ken Shelton. He shared this post. A post was shared with me about how to include screen time in a student's
Oh my
grading.
goodness, I saw that. It's just
I
Yeah,
so
saw
bad.
that.
Yeah.
while I will
Yeah,
not put, so he goes
that's
here.
too bad.
Each student will receive 1 point for logging into the lesson on time, another point for having and keeping their video on, another for staying on screen, and another for keeping their eyes on the screen. So that's just terrible. I
I
mean,
want to know how it's going to happen in the public school. I really have no
yeah,
idea.
I'm scared
Although
for. I'm scared on
laughing,
August 24th. Yeah.
yeah.
Actually,
Although with my
that's
nieces,
why I've been wanting to invite Pen because she's from the public school system. Also, JD Mercado. JD, if you're watching this, I know that I posted something on the Google Educator group. So if you're watching this, JD Mercado of Mandaluyong, DepEd Mandaluyong, please join us in the
I
next.
think
I welcome you.
very
He's also a Google certified innovator, eh, and he's
yeah.
amazing.
I saw his tweet. He was
Mm-hmm.
conducting a webinar for the whole Mandaluyong teachers. I actually followed
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Is
he
he
does
Mm-hmm.
the one
that.
handling the GEG Philippines?
Yes, he's the one. And the nice thing about it is that I still remember what was people saying. She said, "That's the wrong things I mentioned in the tweet." No, Pilar, don't worry about it. You said the right things. We basically we feel everything that you're feeling. We're all in the same boat here.
Yes. Don't worry.
Don't worry about it. And the nice thing about what was that? GD. GD.
Yeah.
I still remember the very first time that uh, he did the Google training was in Google Teacher Workshop in Panay Island in Iloilo.
Wow.
We did it in 2014, and I was so
Mm-hmm.
happy about how he developed throughout the years. So he really kind of pursued this with the best.
Yeah.
And then
I
now
really hope more teachers will join the GEG Philippines. So I checked it
he's
out.
so art.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
There's only 9 followers still, and I was thinking if it's still going to be active, because maybe the one handling is not yet,
No, you
ready
have
to
to.
really post or get engaged with Filipino teachers. So I'm curious because my nieces, one would go modular, or they have learning modules in August, and
Yeah.
the other one, I'm not sure yet. She's grade 10. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure if they're going to use um, distance learning with technology because internet in the province is way, way too bad than we experience here in Manila.
Yeah.
That's,
So it's always buffering. But last April and March, they used Messenger to just
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
complete all the tasks. So
yeah.
I wouldn't know how Google Classroom would work in a province setup when you don't have that internet. So, DepEd, if you're listening to us, please provide internet to the schools because it's your
I think
responsibility.
they're gonna go. I think they're really gonna go modular for a lot of the places,
Yes.
and the thing about it is, oh, for the GEG pala, you did say that in GEG Philippines page, don't go to the page, go to the group. The group has around 4,000 members right now. So
Oh, okay.
it's the group of
Where's the
Global
group?
Education
I was to
Philippines. It's
Mary, I
here
was
on
talking about the Twitter. I don't
the
do
Twitter. No,
I don't
not
do Facebook
Twitter.
page a lot.
No, they don't do anything on Twitter at all. They
Yes.
only
Why?
I don't
because
know.
because
Never.
Lisa, most of the teachers they go to Facebook because it's free. The data is free for Facebook, so they have access,
Right. Right.
and that's why most of them are active in Facebook. So they
Right.
mostly join Facebook pages, but in some, still they are not interacting. They're more of
Right.
liking and, tapping the
Right.
heart
Yeah.
sign, things like that. But,
Right. Right.
interactions really matter, especially
Yes.
now. So I really want to encourage everyone to, speak up,
Yeah,
voice out your dilemmas, your things that
that's true.
worries you, things that excites
Yeah,
you.
that's really great because I just want to share something here about Abishire joined us, and this is what he
Yeah,
said. He
Wakelet.
said he's an instructional coach joining in from Australia, from Chennai, and something that he learned is creating resources for individual teachers for PD is hard, and he's basically using Wakelet right now to share resources. But Wakelet is an amazing tool to use for curating any resources. So for any of the teachers that are watching this, if you have not tried curating resources before, there are various tools out there, but Wakelet is one of the really good ones for
May I
just
share
adding
something
resources
about?
onto your page.
Yeah,
Go
so
go
let
ahead.
me just share something about Wakelet. I have
Yes, go Lisa.
my fellow nerd from a previous from like he's already moved on, and he shared with me via DM on Twitter when I posted that when I posted that tweet of thinking about using IG as a portfolio, a teacher
Yes.
portfolio,
Yeah.
because I always look at how we can make our social media presence positive for us as
Yes.
teachers, as a teaching couple, because my
Yes.
husband is an early years teacher, so and I
Yes.
am a primary teacher, and I feel like his classroom activities, his translates better as an IG story, as
Mm-hmm.
pictures, because of all the crazy things that he does. Like he always wears
Yeah.
costumes.
Oh,
He's always
so
doing
nice.
something. Like it's always an action. They're always doing something like cutting, or
Right.
like it's always something actionable. And I feel like that translates better as an IG story than with
Yes.
me if I'm teaching let's say a reading workshop, then that would translate
Yeah.
better not on IG. So I need to find some things. And then he suggested I should use Wakelet. So then when
Mm-hmm.
I submit my resume, I can put that link and then put
Yes.
Yeah.
together
In
IG,
Wakelet.
we have resources. This is who we are as teachers. To kind of have
Yes.
online
It's
presence
a
at the same
great
time, use a
portfolio.
different method. Yeah. So it's like
Yeah, it becomes
it's
a portfolio.
curated. Yeah. So it's curated, and here is who we are as teachers. And if I were to be so blunt, yeah, because I am
Go
Filipino, it's
ahead.
difficult. Yeah, because I am Filipino, I don't have the right to work, to be honest, as an international school teacher. It's difficult for schools to hire us because we're not native English speakers. So
Yes.
that is something that, and also the government itself, like they don't provide visas. It's not actually the school's fault sometimes. So the government would say, oh, like this person is not a native English speaker, so he or she cannot teach in English. So blanket, no, we cannot allow teachers from the Philippines or from whatever country. So
Oh, I didn't know
for me,
that.
see, yeah. So there's an obvious,
So much
there's an
inequity
obvious
around that.
colonialism mentality there.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
So
that's
it's
true.
if your
definitely
passport
finding the
is
right
wrong or
school.
not.
Yeah, it's just definitely
So
finding the right school for it.
that's a good thing. I
Yeah.
just wanna
So
pull back a little bit and just go back to my last question here. I think it's the fourth question, but it says share an unexpected moment in online teaching that made you. Do you want to answer this, Lisa?
Share
Any
unexpected
unexpected
moment.
moment or Lisa?
Sit up and pay attention. Huh. So
Parang palagi
mostly,
mong gumagalaw yung mga
well, because
so as a
mostly,
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead, Lisa. You
Mhm.
first.
So for me, what made me sit up and pay attention is when the children said, "I don't know how to do that." I'm
yeah,
like, oh, so sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't teach you. So it's again coming back to technological fluency, to what Riza has
Yes.
been saying, and being mindful of teaching the skill first. If this is what I want them to do, what are the skills that I need to teach them in order to achieve that
Yes.
or to present that? So
Yes.
that is
yeah,
something like it made me realize that, oh, hey, like I need to pay attention to what my students are saying.
Yes.
So that made me sit up and pay attention.
Yes.
yeah. So
So,
how about the
Mary,
last one? I
uh-huh.
have my. We have another one. There are some people again joining. Andres, Andres
Yes,
just joined, and my
from
last question
Australia.
here is actually making insights actionable. So para sa iyo, Riza. But for now, I'm just gonna say hello to Andres, from
Yes,
Melbourne. We've got some
Australia.
Australians joining. So let's
I've met Mary, I've met Andres in our APEC workshop in Hong Kong 2018. So
wow.
yes,
Ah,
he has a workshop about a particular sport. So I attended his session and we've been connecting. So we reconnected after I joined back Twitter this summer.
Yes.
So thank you, Andres. He's very supportive and
You're welcome.
insights about this. So my insight is really after reading 260 reflections is to really go back to teaching the skills because that really is their concern right now. They
Yeah.
cannot submit a particular task that I'm asking them to do because the instruction, my video instruction lacks um, a part where it shows them how to add text in the video, how to position themselves. So that's something that I have to think through and work on so that before term
Yeah.
one ends, at least they have one particular skill practiced or improved for this
Yeah.
distance learning. But I'm really not expecting too much from them because as I've said before, the realities of everyone is different from each other. So some of my students, they have great support from their parents. Some uh, they do it on their own. Some don't have that access to internet
Yeah.
so much. So they have internet, but sometimes it's intermittent. So they try to
yes.
use data internet, which is really not good when you're having synchronous or when you're trying to accomplish a synchronous task because uploading videos takes so much bandwidth and internet so connection. So that's it.
Right.
That's going to be my
Yeah.
dilemma for the whole term.
I'm
Movement
just gonna
skill.
highlight what Shire was saying.
Go
He
ahead.
said like seeing how violent parents can get. It tore my
Yeah.
heart to see how students were being yelled at or hit to pay attention to the classes. Like not all parents, but there were a few. So you can basically see it because they're on the call with you. This made me want to empower myself more on imparting online engagement strategies. Yeah. Well, Pilar was saying I had a student that fell asleep. That's what she said. And yeah, we
Yes,
really
because
have to us to
indeed,
make our
Mary.
it's really up to us to make our classes a lot more engaging. I think when I'm wanting to frame the insights that we have right now, like we've just discussed so many of these challenges, and what we need to be able to do in order to move on to our next stage, hindi tayo makaka-move on eh. We cannot move on to the next stage until we really are able to frame how might we, and Laffy has so much experience trying to frame the how might we. One of the
Yes,
ways you can do it is you ask yourself, what if? That's a really good question to ask also. Like,
Ah.
what if we, of course, don't put a solution there, but it's a good
just a
start to
thought.
ideation because our
Yes.
next stage is gonna be ideating next week. We're all gonna be ideas, ideas, ideas. We're just gonna
Mm-hmm.
put forth ideas about how to engage, about how to solve these issues. But today we're just talking about the issues.
Yes.
Pilar said it made me realize my classes needed to be dynamic. So how might we make our classes more dynamic?
Dynamic.
More
Mm-hmm.
dynamic.
It's a really good, question for you to have, Pilar.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we can take to next week and understand like how might we make our classes dynamic next week.
Right.
So
Right.
I just want to just go because this is 10:21. We have a few more minutes to go. So this has been a really vibrant discussion though about challenges considering um, I have something here. A ship it or rip it. So for those people who are not aware, we do a ship it or rip it every week. We always have these two either applications or
Yes.
tools that we put together and try to see will they work together or will they not work. So ship it if they work, rip it if they don't work. What do you think? Ship it or rip it? PDF files and Google Slides.
Oh, I've never actually used PDF files.
May hugot yan for me. The reason why I'm putting it there because there were some teachers who were asking me, Mary, how do I like make my like paper worksheets into online worksheets? There's really no difference
Yes.
into how they want to use it. Can I just PDF it
Mary, you
and Google
froze.
Slides? I sorry, I did I freeze? Oh yeah, go
Yes. So
ahead. Take
can you repeat what
A
you
little
just
bit.
said?
Yeah.
yeah, and so the teacher was saying, how do I parang transform, not really transform, but really just make the
Transfer.
worksheet
Make the worksheet.
transfer, make the
Mm-hmm.
worksheets and export them into a PDF and then put them on Google Slides. Can that work? And I was thinking that's why my primary gripe here is summer. Like a lot of the
Yes.
teachers are still in the substitution stage. They're just
Yes.
substituting something for a digital thing, but not really not really changing the way that they teach.
Not really
So
creating, not really producing.
not
Right.
really
Yes.
not really creating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, Podcast PD is here. They said you can bring them in and you can export slides to PDF. Therefore, you can use slides to create so many types of documents like ebooks, and you can leverage slides for laying out your pages. You know what I
Yes.
learned though? If you have a worksheet, make it fillable. If you want to have at least a little bit
Yes.
more engagement, make
Yes.
it fillable and then ask the question of why. Think why
Mm-hmm.
are you doing this or why if you're matching it, for example,
Yes.
why this and not that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
that gives me an idea though, Laffy, that we should make a tutorial on how to make a fillable Google Drive using a PDF. I
Yes.
might do that today. I might
I
do that.
will I will learn all about it because I also want to create fillable PDF slides.
Same with me,
Yes.
Laffy. Although in Seesaw, you can do that
Yeah.
already.
Yes.
Though
So,
In season.
Yeah.
I do have
so
Pear Deck, so
we're
Absolutely.
Pear
Right.
Deck is I mean it's not fillable. You still need an internet connection, but it's always there.
but right now, Mary, we use PDF files and Google Slides for the weekly learning guides of our students. So we turn the Google Slides into PDF files with hyperlinks on
Okay.
the lessons of each classes. So uh,
It's a
ship
hyperdoc.
it for
Yeah.
me
Ship
for
it,
as
yeah.
a hyperdoc. Yes, ship it
For
for
me,
Mhm.
me
I do
because
ship it as a
that's how it
hyperdoc.
works. But not
I
as a worksheet, ha? It's just a
yeah,
guide, a learning
yeah.
guide, but not a worksheet. Because
Mm-hmm.
worksheets,
Yes.
there are so many applications already how to do that. You have the quizzes, you have the Quizlet, you have Kahoot. So use those and you get analytics rather than the worksheets and you
Yeah.
have to check one by one.
By one. That's true. You have to check one by one. I think this would be great for more let's say if I have a story or if I'm flipping my classroom and I show them a video first and they watch it asynchronous and then I give them a slide that has a PDF file embedded and then I
Mhm.
asked them like, what do you think was the most important part of this thing? And then why do you think it's the most important? Do you think the characters are more important? Do you think the dialogue is more important? Like, and then trying to explain that. Like things like that, I think would be a better application of it than the multiple choice kind of thing because there are better
Right.
ways to do that. Better ways to do that, definitely. I've got
Exactly.
some how might we's here. Pilar said, how might we keep our students engaged in class? How might we be able to prepare classes for online learning and still have a normal family life?
Yes. What's normal? What's normal? Before, during the face-to-face class, I only get to do 7 to 3:45. Right now, I extend
Mhm.
until 7 p.m. There's no more
I,
boundaries.
Yes.
So, and
I
I
Yep.
love that.
realized that I really have to be strict on my work hours.
Yep.
That's
I
true.
told
That's
my students, if you send me an email at 3:59, I'm not answering it because that's next to 4 p.m. and I don't answer any work related stuff after 4 p.m.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah,
it's
but
not popular.
actually, yes. But actually, I think for me, if you're because yours is grade 11, so they're independent. So, but for the
Hmm.
lower years, I think they still need guidance, but
Yeah.
they still need boundaries. So right now
Mhm.
we're close to 5 p.m. Uh,
Yeah.
because they're onto the worry side. They are worried that they don't know how
Mhm.
to do it, so they keep on emailing until 8 p.m., 7 p.m. So because yeah, it goes back to you
You
did
don't
not prepare
boundaries.
them. So now they keep bothering you how to do it. So things like that. So the school is now leaning into, you know, putting a time bound like 5 p.m. That's it.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. So I just want I'm 3 minutes into ending this. So I just want to thank everybody who joined us today in the chat. I think Andreas wanted to join us again next week, so please tag him again. He said tag me again
Sure.
next time. This was fun.
Yes.
He's giving me lots and lots of are you a GIF person or a GIF? Are you of the GIF team or the
GIF.
GIF team? Because he's put lots of GIFs in here. I'm GIF
Yeah.
too.
I
I
am
just don't
the
understand the
GIF
GIF
of
team.
peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the GIF of
Yes, you have to see them moving.
a
Yeah.
lot of yeah. I still like GIF better than GIF.
Yeah.
And
But
yeah,
yeah, my daughter and I would argue about it because she's a GIF
it's
person
true.
and I'm a GIF.
Yeah,
And she's like, it's graphical interface, so it's GIF. And I'm like,
I
the
know.
person who invented it said GIF.
Yeah, better is the same.
So
So yeah,
Is
I'm
the
more of
same.
Yeah,
emoji kind of
there's
girl.
another team actually. I was watching this YouTube video, Great Big Story. The guy who does the pronunciation in the National Spelling Bee, and he was given the GIF gift card, and he goes, "It's GIF."
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so
Love it.
just wanna tell you guys that we are sharing our stories today, and we would like to thank you all again for joining us. And the next week, like I said earlier, next week we will be doing ideation. So design thinking stage 3 next week. This is a really fun one. And also next week is gonna be the unveiling of the Weekend Habit hashtag Guru Chat website because we are
Ooh.
we have a new website.
wow.
Yes, I need your bios. Please send it to me.
Oh
G-
yes.
Oh,
Pilar,
Well,
I already sent
G-
mine.
Pilar is G15. Pilar, let us know if you
ASAG
want to
graphic.
be. Yeah, Pilar, let us know if you want to be part of the live stream next week. We would love to have you here.
Sure.
Oh Sure.
Uh,
Yes, the more the
Yay.
merrier.
or the merrier. We can have up to 10 screens, well, including the screen that I'm sharing. So that means 9 people on the live stream. So we can probably do that next
Amazing.
time. So everybody, if you missed this whole chat, don't worry because this is still going to be saved on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you're more of an audio person, don't worry again because we are on Anchor, we are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, all of your favorite podcasts. So it's anchor.fm/guru chat. But in the future, you only have to go to theweekendhabit.com. So next week, if you go to theweekendhabit.com, you'll see the archive of all of these chats and live streams and podcasts that we are creating out of this. There, Pilar is saying, I'd love to send me a DM.
Yay!
Yay! Right. So thank you,
Yay.
everybody, and we'll see you again next week for another edition of The Weekend Habit. Bye bye.
Bye.
I won't be late next time.